The number one question I get asked all the time is why I do not do one-on-one tutoring and why I'm actually against the traditional one-to-one method. So just in case you're wondering, yes, I'm in a hotel room. I'm currently in Bangkok, Thailand. I'm just waiting for my phone to charge before I go out for the evening and get some dinner. But I figured while I'm waiting for my phone to charge, I might just as well make a video for you guys. I've had a lot of people just ask me just this week alone, so I figured we'll just jump straight into it. The reason why I do not do one-on-one is because I think it's hurting your kiddo more than it's helping. So hear me out. I know a lot of parents are not the biggest fan of a group model or an online model, and typically a lot of us think that the one-on-one method is going to be what's best for your kiddo because they can't focus in any other type of setting, or perhaps they just need a lot of attention. They're very far behind, and it's natural for us to just think that we need that one-to-one support. And what this actually does is the opposite effect. So yes, it's helpful, but it's in the long run more detrimental, and it's going to take longer for your kiddo to catch up, to get the results they need. And it's actually going to do the opposite effect of what you want it to do. So the analogy that I like to use is think about it like this. So when you're doing one-on-one tutoring, you are holding your kiddo's hand, or I mean, I guess not you, but when you are having, when you have a tutor for your kiddo who is going to do that one-on-one method, there's a lot of hand holding, and the sessions are usually an hour, and that's just holding the hand for an hour the entire time. Typically, you're doing everything together, you're right there. It's very easy to kind of say the answer or kind of say, oh, no, don't do that, you want to do this. And so it's a lot of guiding and showing and doing with them or for them and teaching versus having them be independent and actually do it on their own. So I, again, highly advise against the full hour of hand holding, the full hour of one-to-one sessions. A lot of kids, what happens is they start to rely on this. They start to rely on their tutor. They do really well on the homework. They're going to ace all the homework. They're going to understand exactly what's happening, but they're going to be lacking critical thinking and problem solving skills. And this is what they need when they go into the classroom. When they go back to class, they're taking a test and the tutor's not there, they completely bomb it, right? And so this is the cycle, and it's the frustration that occurs as to I hate math. I don't like this. I'm not good at this. This just further brings them away from becoming their confident self, and it puts them a lot more into this negative space because now they're working so hard with their tutor, but they're not getting the scores that they want, or they're not getting the results that they want, or they feel like they understand it during the tutoring session, but then they go to class and they're confused, they're lost because they don't have someone that holds their hand. Now, the second detrimental effect that creates is this creates a dependent learner. And again, I've seen this so many times. There are kiddos who just cannot use their own thought process. They just don't have the critical thinking skills. And when you put them in a complete one-on-one for an entire hour with a tutor, it takes that ability away. It doesn't allow them to challenge themselves. It doesn't allow them to bring out their own critical thinking skills. So again, they're being very babied in the one-to-one method. They have a lot of inner anxiety where they don't like being left alone. They can't think. The minute that the tutor is gone, that hand is let go, they feel lost, they feel confused, they don't know how to do it. Now, I see this a lot when I do my academic coaching and I do my private tutoring sessions. I get a lot of kiddos who have come from that model, and the minute I leave them alone, and I'll explain in just a second here how I do it and what I recommend instead, but the minute they're left alone, they freak out. They don't know what to do. And when I come back after about 5 minutes, they're just completely shattered. I don't know how to do this. I don't understand. This is really hard. And you can just see all the nerves and the anxiety all pouring out. And so the way I do this, and I've done this for the last several years, this has been the most effective method. This is why I do not do one-on-one, because the results for this have just been insane. The results have just shown for itself. I've get clients that come in, students that I work with, and within a month, there's a significance difference. They're getting within just 2 weeks, their scores are shifting and it's transforming. And so the method that I use is psychological scaffolding along with a small group one-to-one. So what this does is it allows me to still work with the child one-on-one, but it's within a small group. So within a very small group setting, I'm able to work with the kiddo. So I'm holding their hand, we're working some problems together, and then I let go, right? And in the time that I am holding their hands and I'm working, I use a specific strategy called psychological scaffolding. This is my method that I use, and it's the way I do this is I do, we do, you do, right? And sometimes I'll take out the I do if I feel like they're ready, and it just turns into we do and you do. There's times where I might perhaps flip it and it's just a you do, we do, and then I do, depending on where your kiddo's at, what they need. And so really being strategic about how it's scaffolded and how it's taught, how it's broken down to the kiddo, and to push them to independence. The end goal is for them to be independent, to be able to do this math on their own, and you can't do that if you're just this the entire time. So when I am in that one-on-one space with your kiddo in the small group, I ask a very set of specific psychological questions, and I push them in the direction that they need to go in order for them to be independent. They've already seen the math taught at school. The teacher's already taught it a handful of times, and now it's a week, 2 weeks, a month, a year later, and they still do not understand it. So I, as a former teacher, refuse to teach it the same way that I've taught in school, right? Because again, they've seen it taught that way a handful of times. They still don't get it. So I like to just use that I do, we do, you do method with the psychological scaffolding to get your kiddo to come up to the solution themselves. So I don't tell them the answer unless we've exhausted all other options, and then I'm like, okay, let me show you one, and then I do the rest of that psychological scaffolding and everything else again. So the main point and the purpose here is that I am trying to get your kiddo to come to the conclusion, to the answer on their own. And now what this does is this increases their confidence. They're able to do it on their own, and it's just that mind-blowing, wait, I did do this on my own. Oh, okay, maybe this isn't so hard. All of that kind of kicks in. They're able to do it without me, and when I let go of their hand, they're able to now, they have a specific set of things that they need to work on when I do let go, and that they're responsible for this 1 or 2 problems by the time I come back, right? I'm switching, I'm working with another kiddo. Now they're left alone for about approximately 5 minutes, the sweet spot, and when I come back, they have a problem that they need to do. So now there's a little bit of that pressure. There's a time limit on there as well. There's a manageable, it's not like a bunch of problems all at once. There's a manageable amount that they need to do. So this is all very strategic on my end. And when I come back, we just simply talk about what happened. Whether they get it or not, we come back, then we discuss it, and we see what happened. And oftentimes students with this method of now they're independent, now they're not used to this the entire time. As soon as I come back, they oftentimes, as they're presenting to me what they did, they say, wait, can I have another minute? I know what I did wrong, right? But if I was like this the entire time and they're very reliant on me and they're codependent, they would be acting a lot of the times with, did I do that right? Is that right? I think so. I don't know. Can you check? It's a lot of that. But the minute they come out of this realm, they come out of the codependent learner and they enter the dependent learner, it's a whole new world. They start telling you, actually, go away, can I have another couple minutes? Because I got this on my own. And that makes me really happy to see. So they're starting to understand, they're starting to see things, they're starting to connect the pieces. They're using their own brain to get to the answer versus the traditional one-on-one where they're just waiting for you to show them. They want to do it with you. They want to do every single problem together. They want you to check every single thing because they're anxious and nervous and they want to get it all right and they don't want to make any mistakes. Here, you're allowing the mistakes to happen. You're allowing the mistakes to happen. You're allowing them to learn from those mistakes. And this is where the growth happens significantly faster. And in the future, in the long run, they're going to do a lot better in not only math, but just in all their overall subjects because you've created an independent learner as opposed to a dependent, anxious learner, if that makes sense. So this is how I do it in my sessions. This is how I recommend that you do it as a parent. Again, I'm highly a no for the traditional, typical one-on-one method. So this is the way I do it. If you are interested and you'd like to know more, send me a message. Also, I do a free consultation assessment. So if you're interested and you just want to talk about it, or perhaps you want me to come on, meet you and your kiddo, and we kind of do a little assessment as to where they're at and what I think and kind of share your thoughts. I'm happy to just give you a strategy session. Whether you decide to work with me or not, that's up to you. But if I can share this information with you and help you and your kiddo come up with a strategy at home, then I'm happy. So again, link down below. or send me a message if you're interested. Other than that, please stay away from this toxic one-on-one hand-holding codependent style of tutoring, and make that shift and get your kiddo to start being more independent, being able to use their own critical thinking skills and their problem solving skills.